Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this afternoon? That's right, it's this afternoon, it's not this evening. Who wants to guess the time of the day and the temperature? Now, it's funny because whenever I just got out of the car, so Alex just dropped me off because he went to his open house thing that he had to go to today. I looked at the temperature and the temperature said 74 degrees. In the car it said outside 74 degrees. So let's see, it is currently 3:28 p.m. Let's look and see what the temperature is outside. Because it's usually a little bit warmer than what it says in his car, a little bit colder sometimes. It's 75 and cloudy outside. So, happy Sunday. How are you guys doing today? I think this is going to be the only video that I filmed today. I am really, really tired. I was actually Googling a bunch of stuff last night. I've been having a lot of weird dreams. Like every night I'm having like really weird dreams when I take a nap. I'm having really weird dreams. And I'm just like lethargic all the time. And so I was like reading stuff online and it was like everything pointed to like sleep deprivation. And I'm like, you know, it takes me 2 or 3 hours to fall asleep. And then when I fall asleep, and it was also talking about like when you're only getting so many hours of sleep a week that you like go deep into REM sleep. And that's why then you have like vivid dreams that you remember because you're only getting a couple hours of sleep a night. And so I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, and I know that people are going to want to say, well, if you went to bed at 10 o'clock, you know, at night and got up at 7 o'clock in the morning and all this kind of stuff. And even when I do, like if I go to bed like early on the nights that I have gone to bed early, like I wake up in the middle of the night and then I can't go back to sleep. And then I lay there for 3 or 4 hours and just, you know, so it's not about when I'm going to sleep. It's about, and I appreciate you guys trying to help, but it's not about when I go to sleep. It's about the conditions of my sleep. And so I was thinking about this. I was like, you know, it takes me like with the medicine, like 2 to 3 hours, sometimes longer than that, to finally fall asleep. And then when I finally fall asleep, I sleep for like an hour and a half, and then I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I come back, I fall asleep again, I sleep for like an hour and a half, get up, go to the bathroom. So I'm literally every night, even on the good nights, like this last week, I had a couple good nights where I fell asleep pretty quickly. And quickly for me is like an hour to an hour and a half. So when I say on a video, like, yeah, I fell asleep quicker last night, that's like an hour and a half. Like, that's pretty average for me to like lay there for an hour and a half in bed. So I was thinking about it, you know, and I was like, I'm really getting between, on like a good night, right? On a good night, I'm getting between maybe 4 and 5 hours of sleep at night. On a night that I really, really struggle, I'm probably getting between 2.5 to 4 hours of sleep, plus a nap, you know, in the evenings. I think people sometimes seem like, and not just like people that watch my videos, but I think people in my real life too think that like I get 8.5, 9 hours of sleep and then I take like a 2-hour nap. I think people kind of assume that when that's not the reality at all. And yeah, so I'm really like, I feel like I've gone so long without getting really good sleep that I'm just really feeling exhausted today. I'm really, really feeling exhausted today. So, but I also know like right now, like when I get up and then I'm up and like we went to brunch and stuff like that, if I went upstairs right now and I laid down, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Like I don't feel, like I'm exhausted, like my whole body is exhausted, but I don't feel like so tired that I could just like fall asleep right now. Like I would just lay there on the pillow and I would toss and turn right now. I think that's part of the problem, is that I feel just very awake all the time, even when I'm, you know, trying to fall asleep and stuff like that. So I'm gonna film this vlog, and I mean, if I get done with the vlog and then, well, I was like, maybe I'll vlog a little bit longer than I usually do. Maybe we'll try to make this over an hour today. Since Alex is at this open house, for this graduation open house, maybe I'll try to make this a little bit longer. But if I get done with this and then I want to film, you know, Peter Ism's video or something like that, I don't have anything to talk about as far as drama today. I'm not going to do a drama video today. I do have like a couple videos for, well, let's go in here. I mean, I have things to talk about on my drama channel. They're videos that I would have to like kind of like put together a little bit, my thoughts. Let's see. Video idea list. So for my Peter Does Stuff channel, I have on here Weigh In Thursdays, Movie Night Pick on Fridays, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 other video ideas for that. My drama channel, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they're kind of like all, like top 10 true crime documentaries is one of them. The Fellow Travelers and Talking About Pride is another one of those. And then I have like pop culture conspiracy theories because I did one of those videos over here, so I thought about doing a couple more of them. And then like 1, 2, 3 of them are like drama specific about influencers I talk about. And then another one talking about true crime. Well, this one's talking about true crime channels. And, okay, and then for my TV channel, well, actually, just gonna add another one because I just finished Eric last night. So I have The Pillowcase Murders, Eric, The Jinx 2, The Ones Who Live, Daryl Dixon. I already did this video. This was the shows I'm gonna binge. Oh, I had it twice on here. I had Survivor and Amazon, Amazing Race, so I was gonna binge, and I had the shows I was gonna binge. I have something about Kristen being the villain of The Valley. So this week The Valley is done, so I'll have the Valley finale. I think I'm going to combine that and the Vanderpump Rules finale. Here, I'll write that in there right now. Valley, Vanderpump Rules finale. And like today, I could do a video on there about like the Real Housewives of New Jersey. They came out and said they're having no reunion. Something's really going on with Bravo. Like, this would be an entire video to do over there by itself, but something's going on with Bravo. They're not doing BravoCon this year. All these allegations against Andy Cohen came out about, you know, numerous different things. The Brandy Glanville case happened. The Valley is having no reunion. Vanderpump Rules, they're not even sure if they're going to continue it or not. They're recasting all of these shows, like Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Orange County, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They're like firing and something is going on at Bravo, and who knows what it is. I have 1 Peterisms video written down here, and then I have 3 BookTube. But like the 3 BookTube videos, like the review, like that's of the of like May's book, and then also for Peter's Book Club, and then also for like past ones. And then I have a new series that I want to start over there, and then I have 1 specific video. So that's like 6 videos, actually. So I've got a bunch of videos that I could do, but I think today it would probably be better if I just took the day off and relaxed, other than making this vlog. Because I think just to like kind of sit and read and whatever. I have these sandals on. I have like this corny outfit on. Well, this t-shirt I wear quite a bit. But I have these like khaki cut-off jean shorts. And then, hold on a second. And then I have these blue leather Birkenstocks. You guys, I don't know why, but these are so painful. This part, the top part, and I've loosened it and I've tightened it. They always kind of give me blisters. So, but I've had them for years. I really, really like them. I think they're pretty. The leather kind of like, is like kind of rustic looking, but I think it's partly because, like, I don't know if you can see this, but they're like, it's like such hard leather. Like, I have the suede ones, they're so comfortable, but like these are like really, really hard leather, and so I think it's partly that. But anyway, so yeah, so I think today I'm just gonna like read and relax. When Alex comes home, he said he's not gonna be over there for very long. He said he'll probably be over there like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So when he's gonna help like do some of the stuff while he's there too. So he was supposed to get up this morning and help set it up, and then we were gonna maybe or maybe not go to brunch, and so, but he did that on Friday. He helped, was it Friday or Thursday? Whatever day it was that he went over there and took the tables over there and stuff like that. They set it up all that day, so he didn't have to go over there this morning. We were like getting ready for brunch, and he was like putting on like jeans and this like button-down collared shirt. To go to brunch, he usually always wears like a hoodie and like shorts, like sweat shorts or something like, real casual for brunch. And this girl that was sitting next to us, she had a Teddy Fresh t-shirt on. And it was like her and like her husband and like their daughter, who was like adorable. And she was like 1 or something like that. And she was being a very sweet child. And they were sitting right next to us. There weren't that many people there when we got there because we got there kind of late. And but she had a Teddy Fresh t-shirt on. And I wanted to ask her so bad. I was like, are you a fan of like Ethan Klein and the H3 podcast? Because I don't really see people that ever have like influencer merch on very often. And I mean, that's not influencer merch. That's Ela Klein's brand, Teddy Fresh. It's actually a really nice brand. I bought a lot of that stuff. A lot of this stuff, so it's really, I will say this about it, it's like baggy. Like if you buy like a 2XL, it's like a 2X. I mean, it's like really big. So, like an extra large would be like super baggy on me. So when I cleaned out my closet, there was a bunch of stuff in there, and Tanya's like, well, Tanya's lost so much weight, and she is like, but she loves stuff like really, really baggy. So I have these like, I had a couple different shirts that were, I had like a pink one and like a yellow one that were like terry cloth. I had this like Jerry Garcia hoodie that I got from Teddy Fresh. I had a couple different shirts. I had this like crushed velvet green shirt. I think the stuff is nice. It's streetwear clothes, but it's like well done streetwear clothes. I will say that. I think it's extremely expensive for what it is, but it's always cute. Like their stuff is always cute. And I will tell you that I think it's cuter in person than it is on the website, as far as Teddy Fresh. And so I had a bunch of this stuff. I mean, I had some stuff that was still sitting in like the plastic bags that I had never worn, because it came and like a lot of it was like, it was so baggy it wouldn't even fit me. And so then when I lost more weight, it definitely wouldn't fit me. And it's kind of streetwear anyway, so like the sleeves are like long and like it's like you know, like the shirts are real long anyway. Tanya loves that kind of stuff, so I gave it to her. Well, she's like mixed this stuff up with leggings and like jean shorts and stuff. She looks so cute wearing this stuff. She has no clue what Teddy Fresh is, right? But she's like, I had her like look on the website one time. She's like, oh, this stuff is cute. But like they change it all the time. You know, some of this stuff is cute. Some of the stuff is like, she did like a whole Care Bear collection I didn't really love. But anyway, there's this woman next to us. She's, I don't know, probably 30 years old. She had like a Teddy Fresh t-shirt on. And I was going to be like, are you like a Ela Klein fan or something like that? So, but I didn't. She was feeding her daughter a waffle, and they were like packing up their stuff and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so this discussion in the conversation section about what is an open house, like cracked me up so bad, right? And I was actually kind of surprised that nobody kind of like replied to any of the comments and said, oh, we call it an open house here all the time. I don't know like if this is like, okay, I don't even know when I started hearing the term open house. I feel like it was like 10 or 15 years ago. So I said this in that vlog that, okay, so what I'm talking about is I was saying that Alex had to go to a graduation open house today. And that Caroline had 4 open houses this weekend to go to. And so people were like very confused. A lot of people, like, they were like, what does he mean by open house? And somebody said like, no, that's not what he means. Because an open house is like when a realtor shows a house and like you can come and walk through the house on like a Saturday. They're usually on Sundays. That's absolutely 100% what an open house is. No, you're absolutely correct. I don't know if it's just an Indiana thing. I don't think it is, because I feel like I've seen other people post stuff from like other states. Well, yeah, my friend, her daughter, she lives in Colorado. Her 2 daughters, like her daughter just had a college graduation open house, and the other daughter, she'll be a sophomore next year in college. And but her mom, this is my mom's friend Susie's daughter, that's like the same age as me. But her mom's from Indiana, so maybe that's why they call them open houses. Is it just an Indiana thing? I mean, this is what I said in that vlog, was that when I was growing up in high school, we called them graduation parties. We didn't call them open houses. But I want to kind of like Google this and see if it says anything. Open house graduation meaning, because I want to see what it says on here. I want to see if it's like, if it like doesn't pull up anything. A graduation open house is still a party, but it's designed to allow guests to come and go as they please. This style event has become more popular for both convenience and cost efficiency. An open house format allows a more flexible, free-flowing event. So, okay, what it means versus like having a graduation party from like 6 to 8 is that the party starts at 6 and it ends at 8, and you're expected to kind of be there the whole time. An open house, like I think today's is from like 2 to 6, and you can come anytime from 2 to 6 and stay 20 minutes or stay from 2 to 6. You can stay, come and go as much as you want. So that's what the difference is. What's the difference between a party and an open house? An open house is a loosely organized social event. A party that's one to anyone who wants to come at any time. You might have an open house to welcome your new next door neighbors, as opposed to a formal party that starts at a certain time and has a specific guest list. An open house is a casual celebration. So yeah, you just send out like a bunch of invitations and hope that everybody brings $50 or $100. That's really what it is. But it's funny because, like, well, some people have, like, open houses together. I've had, like, friends of mine whose, like, their kids are, like, they're like, oh, well, like, my daughter's having an open house with her best friend, Susie, or something like that, you know? So that's what an open house is. So that's where Alex is today. It was funny because when we were at brunch, I was, like, asking him some questions about, like, this is a friend that he works with, that it's her daughter's. And I did actually meet the daughters, like, one time. One time I met them and talked to them for, like, 10 minutes. And, so it was I actually talked about it. It was, like, a party that we went to. I think it was, like, last fall sometime. So anyway, he was like, babe, nobody expects you to go. I was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah, it's totally fine. Nobody expects you to go. Caroline, it's funny because I said to her, and these are even some of her good friends, I said, will Mike go to these open houses? She was like, no, absolutely not. I was like, what will Mike do while you're at the open houses? She's like, he'll, you know, hang out with the dogs and watch sports or something like that. I was like, do you even ask him to go? She's like, no, I know he can't stand that stuff. I know he doesn't want to go to the open houses. She's like, there's no way. She was like, even if I ask him, he'd be like, do I really have to go? She's like, there's certain things that, you know, like, he, you know, knows that he has to go to. And stuff. Like, they always go to all the, like, obviously, all the weddings together and stuff like that. And, you know, but open houses, no. Like, Mike's out on that one. I think, like, Tanya goes to a lot of open houses, too. And I don't feel like Eric ever goes to any of the open houses. I mean, if it was somebody that I knew, I would go. What was the last one we went to? It was our friend Aaron's daughter was the last open house that I went to. She graduated last year or the year before? Was that open house last year? And really what it was kind of like all of Aaron and Eric's friends that had, like, known her when she was, like, growing up and stuff like that. She's doing great. So yeah. And then before that, the last one that I went to was Aaron's son. That's like 3 years older than his sister. 2 or 3 years older than his sister. Who's another one that I've gone to? Tanya's son, but that was forever ago. I feel like I've gone to more college open houses than, yeah. Just for, like, friends of ours whose kids are graduating and stuff like that. And a lot of the people that we know, they don't have them. So, it's interesting because I talked about the pool a lot yesterday. I've not gotten an answer on the pool. In fact, my neighbor yesterday was texting me about what are we going to do about this pool situation. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. This guy's the cutest dog. He looks just like Boo Radley, but he's bigger.
Come on,
He trots just like Boo Radley, too. So, my neighbor was texting me and she said, so who do we talk to about the pool hours? And I said, I'm going to ask the old... I was like, I thought that was just walking down the street. I'm going to ask the old HOA president, first of all, if he knows anything. Then I'm going to ask the neighbor on the corner. And I said, if he doesn't know, then I'm going to call the president of the HOA on Monday. And she said, okay, sounds good. Let me know how it goes. If you need backup, LOL, I'll call any and everyone. I said, okay, thanks, I'll let you know. So we're going to get to the bottom of this pool thing. But when we pulled up today, it's not warm outside. Like, this is not a day that I would want to go to the pool. It's interesting because I don't hear anybody at the pool now, but, like, when I got back, because when Alex pulled in, I was like, I could see a bunch of cars up there, and I saw a bunch of people, like, standing around the pool with, like, floaties and stuff like that, and I was like, how many people are at the pool? Well, they all left at the same time, which means if they all left, because I started walking up there before I started vlogging, because I was like, oh no, I want to give a report to the people about the pool. So I started walking up there. Well, they were all getting in their cars, which means that they're all together. There were 4 cars up there. There were probably, I don't know, 10 to 15 people, maybe more, up there with all their huge floaties. So that means that, like, an entire family in this neighborhood took over the pool. I could not have gone to the pool this afternoon. I mean, if it was 85 degrees, because there's so many people up there at the pool. I know he's talking to his dog. I was like, see, you can hear anything in this neighborhood. So if there were people that were being loud at the pool, I could hear it right now. I could hear people, like, yelling and stuff at the pool. But there were, like, all these cars up there, all these people with, like, huge, you know, floaty things and stuff like that. And it's like one household will bring, like, they'll have, like, a party up there. Like the other day, my neighbor was like, oh, somebody was having a kids party up there. I'm like, okay, that's not like the rules of the neighborhood. Like you have to rent out a pool for that. Like, and our pool is not a pool that's rented out. Like, you know, like apartment pools and stuff, and you can like rent out the room and whatever, or community pool. Like our pool is not like a pool that you can like rent out to have a party. Like you have to like run it by the board. There's 2 parties that are run here in the summer, like 2 legit pool parties. There's the community pool party, and then there is a Special Olympics party that they do every year, because there's a couple people in this neighborhood, her grandmother being the one that was in, like, she and her husband were like really big in Special Olympics, running Special Olympics. So like 20 years ago, when my mom lived here, like first year that my mom lived here, which would have been like that summer of 95, she was hosting, like, she would have this big like, the Special Olympics Indianapolis, like, pool party here and stuff like that. Actually, here's my neighbors coming right here. I'm gonna ask them about this pool. Hello? How are you guys doing? I got a question for you. Y'all, that was a long conversation. I am finally back. What time is it? It is 4:36. Oh, I got some huge long text message. Oh, it's from our friend from Patachie. What did she text us? Hold on a second. Oh, she was just telling us that she didn't get to really talk to us today, and she felt bad about that. Okay, that turned into such a long conversation. I have to tell you what happened. So, the guy that I went to go talk to, who I always call, like, anyway, my favorite neighbor, he used to be the president of the HOA. Well, I thought, and that he gets to, like, go in there as, like, the alumni. Well, what I found was that he had been, like, so the position is a 2 to 4 year position, any board. You either serve 2 years or 4 years. It's your choice, right? And then all you have to do is take a year off, and then you can get voted back on the board. So he was like, I was the HOA president for 14 years. I was like, excuse me? He was like, I was the HOA president for 14 years because I kept on going back on it and stuff like that. So I was telling him about the pool. Well, when I was telling him about the pool, I talked to them last summer about the pool, and one of the issues was that a lot of people from outside of our neighborhood, okay, they bring, like, that, they live on the lake, so they have to pay a smaller HOA fee. Like, we pay $465, I think they pay like $81 or $91 because they live on the lake, so it's for lake maintenance, pool, tennis court. So they use the pool as, like, party place every weekend and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't understand why we even, I mean, it's like 10 houses. I don't even understand why we charge these people. Like, and they're the ones that are bringing all their kids in here and having parties on the weekends and things like that, right? Like, there's nobody in this neighborhood. I mean, and I think that changed because when my mom lived here, there was hardly ever anybody at the pool. And so, and I was saying to them, I was like, you know, I don't have an issue with, like, every once in a while somebody having, like, a party. And maybe, like, putting out a notice, like, do you care? Like, with her grandma that does the Special Olympics, I said, like, that was a special thing. She did that, like, once or twice a summer. And his wife was like, yeah, I totally agree. Like, that's a completely separate thing. Or if somebody was like, it's my 70th birthday and I want to have my party at the pool house, does anybody care? And put out a notice and whatever. Like, nobody's going to care about that, right? But just to the sense of entitlement that I'm going to bring 10 people with me. So I said, well, how many people can you bring as guests to the pool? And he said it's 4 per family, and you're supposed to only do that, like, you know, once a month or something like that. But he was like, you know, like, if you're bringing like a friend or 2 every day with you, he's like, that's not a problem, right? And I was like, oh no, I don't have an issue with that at all. I said I have an issue with it when it's a grandma that's using a key from somebody across the street and she's bringing 6 kids with her that she's babysitting. Like, that's a completely different issue, not to mention it's a liability issue and stuff like that. So then we were talking about he goes, the time changing, and he was like, I have no idea about the pool time. He's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, these are the pool hours. The pool used to be open until 11 o'clock. First of all, I don't understand why the pool's open. Like, there's a time limit on the pool. I should be able to, he's like, I agree. He was like, but what do you mean? And I said, well, the pool used to be open until 11 o'clock. He's like, yeah, that's when the alarm goes off. And I said, he goes, that's when the alarm is set. I said, so the alarm is still set for 11 o'clock. He goes, I don't know unless they changed it. I said, but did they vote on it? He goes, well, I didn't go to the last meeting, but that would have been something that they would have talked about before. And I said, so you've never heard anything being talked about with going to the meeting or with changing the pool hours? He goes, I've never heard anybody say anything about changing the pool hours. He goes, that might have been a last minute decision that they made. So in the middle of this conversation, my neighbors across the street, they came out and they started talking. Well, they had some issues. Like, they have a lot of people in this neighborhood have a lot of issues. So they had a lot deeper issues. And so they were bringing up some of their issues and stuff like that. well, he didn't really want to have this conversation because he was getting like, you know, caught between like the, you know, crossfires of like, now it's like an HOA meeting like in the middle of the street. And so I was like, hey, I'll let you guys go on your walks. So I kind of like interrupt. I was like, I'm really sorry about this. I'm going to call her tomorrow. And he looked at me and he goes, I'll tell you what. He's like, Peter, he goes, I know that you care about the pool. He goes, I know you don't get to go a lot of places but the pool. He goes, how would you feel about checking in on the pool like once or twice a week, and if people are up there that aren't supposed to be up there, that you're like, hey, like you can't be up here without like, you know, a key and be a member of the community and things like that. He's like, are you willing to do that? Is she willing to do that? And I said, yeah. And he goes, then I'm going to write an email, and he goes to the HOA president, and I'm going to tell her that I think it would be a good idea to make you guys the pool committee. And all that kind of stuff, and then you guys can decide when the pool closes and how that's gonna all go. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is just the start of an idea in the middle of the street, okay? So we don't need to go with this. But here's the thing, like, he said something about, I said to him, he goes, you know, you could run for the board. I said, if I run for the board, I'm not gonna, like, there's so many people in here that are like friends and have been friends for 20 or 30 years, like before they ever lived in this community. No, it's the same 8 or 9 people. He goes, I totally agree with you. I said, and in all honesty, I don't really want to be on the board. I said, but what I do want to work towards is, I do want to work towards the board being more considerate of what the community wants. I said, for example, like us having to pay for the tennis court that was busted in by this woman, that SUV was a very nice SUV. I said, like, did we further that, or did we just accept the fact that we have to pay the bill? And he was like, yeah. He was like, he started explaining this. I said, okay, well then we needed to take further action on that. I said, you know, with the other gate that was broken, with this, I said, these are things that like would take 2 seconds to put a ballot. I said, you guys send out a ballot once a year for who we're voting on, and I don't even know who some of these people are. I said, there's no reason why once a month you couldn't put a ballot out for like monthly issues. He's like, that's a really good idea. And I thought, in 25 years, nobody's thought of this. I said, once a month you could put out a ballot for the whole community. I said, because here's the thing. Once a year, we're voting for board members that the majority of, I don't even know who those people are. I've never heard of them before, right? And then they're getting on the board, or they're being reelected for 10 to 15, 20 years, right? And they're controlling everything that goes on in this neighborhood. Then they're not asking anything about pool hours, tennis courts, because he has issues with the tennis courts being pickleball courts and things like that, and the lines on it, and apparently they did some stuff with that. I said, nobody's being consulted about should we or should we not pay for this, but our HOA fees are going up for this and going up. Nobody's consulting us. Like, we're not voting on that as a community because you guys are like, oh, it's a democracy because we voted for the board. But the reality is, we kind of forget that the board even exists because we voted for them 2 years ago, and nobody even knows who these people are, and they've sat on there for 20 years. It's not a democracy. And I said, you guys are not I said, there's no reason why once a month before the board meetings. He goes, well, the board meetings are like every other month. I go, even better yet, every other month. You send out and you say, these are the things we're going to vote on, what's your vote for it? And the community votes for it. And the board has to make major decisions about things and how money's spent and whatever, but like other issues like that, no, those are things that the community should be deciding. That shouldn't be 8 people that don't ever go to the pool decide what the hours are going to be. And he was like, I 100% agree with you. So anyway, he was really, really nice. He was like, well, I said, well, I'm going to call her anyway. He goes, let me send the email. He goes, then you call her tomorrow. And he was like, she'll be kind of prepared for it with my email. He's like, she and I get along really well. I was like, I'm sure you do. They all get along really well, you know? But it was so funny because he and I get along really well anyway, but his wife and I get along really well. And so she's like, yeah, you should, you know, whatever. And she goes up to the pool too. So she was feeling the same issues with the pool. But I was like, there's like 50, because I thought all these cars had left. Well, more cars came. Oh, this was what the issue, my neighbor across the street. He was like, yeah, there were all these kids that were riding up there this morning on their bikes. He was like, and there were no parents with them, and they were at the pool. And he was like, there's all these kids that are just using it, but there's no lifeguard up there or anything like that, right? And so, and this guy that was the president, he was like, excuse me? He was like, there were kids up there without parents. He was like, that's like, you can have your key taken. They'll just take your key away, and then you can't use the pool for the rest of the summer. And so he looked at me and goes, are you willing to do that? If there's, you know, kids up there without their pool taking their key away. I said, yeah, but I'm going to hand it right over to the HOA president, and she can handle those phone calls. I'll just say I'm working for her. You know, I don't want to be like, no, I don't want to be I want to go enjoy the pool. I don't want to be getting in fights with the pool and stuff like that, right? And I said, what needs to happen is, instead of confronting on a person-to-person statement, you need to send out an email blast and say, these are the new rules. The pool, if anybody is there, if any child, because he said it's supposed to be like kids under like 16 are not supposed to be unaccompanied by, you know, an adult. And if there's more than so many, then it has to be like, I don't know, anyway. So there's never, it's always little kids. It's never like teenagers anyway. So, and there's some college kids that come up here, but they're like, they read a book by the end, and like they're they're staying with their grandparents for a month or whatever, and then they like sit at the end and they don't talk to any of us, and they just like read a book or listen to their music or something like that, right? But it's always little kids. And so he was like, and then talk about, I said, you need to send out an email about like, how many kids you're supposed to bring per card and things like that, and how many kids per parent. I said, because I think like 6 kids for one parent, that's a lot. Like, I think it needs to be like, then it's a babysitting job or a party, right? Like, then it's a whole different scenario. And he was like, yeah, I agree. And so, and then he was like, and then I said, and you also need to put out a thing about like the hours, obviously. And he's like, oh no, we're going to get that changed. And he was like, and I said, and also just put out a thing about like, being considerate of people and all this kind of stuff, and that you're going to be asked to leave and you won't be able to use the pool again. And he was like, I said, you need to do an email blast, and then everybody's mailbox put a flyer in there following up the email blast. I said, it's one thing to do like a person-by-person basis and going to the pool when they come in there, that's fine. But if you send out an email and you send out like a paper blast, then they can't say, I don't know about this, right? What's interesting to me is, okay, that there is some kind of, like, because she's so young, she's not young now, but she's 30, but she moved in here, I don't know, 6 years ago when she was 23 or 24. People like really had an issue with her being that young in this neighborhood when she's been like a really like great neighbor. I mean, we live right next to her. She's very quiet, very considerate. Like, she had her dog out the other day and she was like, hey, she like texted me and she was like, I just want to let you know that like I'm gonna have her out on a long leash today. I just like, because of Boo and things like that. She's very, very considerate. She's the one that I went to the pool the other day, right? But people had issues with her just because she was younger. So that year was the first year that I think that's when I had somebody come out here and do the walkway. And I think it was Tanya's son that came out here that year and did the walkway because he was trying to like get some extra money. This was 4 or 5 years ago or something like that. Well, she didn't do it for like a month after that. And her like having to do it, they said that you will lose pool privileges until you do it. I go, this is not 3rd grade. You're not going to the principal's office. They can't take away your pool privileges. You pay for those with your HOA fees, right? So if they're willing to pull somebody's pool privileges over the not doing their yard, then they should definitely pull somebody's pool privileges for bringing too many people to the pool that don't even live in this neighborhood. You know what I mean? So anyway, I don't really care because the pool is, it was so funny because when he walked away, my neighbor was like, are you really gonna do all that? I said, yeah, if I'm up at the pool. And because he was like, can you randomly like once or twice go up to the pool, and if there's people up there that aren't supposed to be up, just ask them if they have keys. I was like, just walk up there once or twice a week and be like, hey, does everybody here have keys? And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I don't have a problem doing that. I mean, he was like, okay. And so when he walked away, she was like, so you're the pool committee, because she knows like how we felt about the pool committee. So she's like, you're the pool committee now, because he referred to it as a pool committee. I said, no. I said, we'll make that very clear. I said, before we go forward with us being the pool committee, we're going to decide when it opens and closes and things like that. And I will be deciding on the hours as the pool committee, because we're the ones that are affected by it the most, right? Like, so anyway, I'd love to walk up there today. I bet you anything. I started walking up there. I could just see there was a lot of people, but the thing is, I don't even know some of these people in this neighborhood. I was like, I bet it's this HOA president. She's probably having this party, she and her husband, with a bunch of their grandkids up there today. When I get done with this vlog, I am going to walk up there and just kind of see what's going on. I act like I'm looking at the library. I'll be like, spying. But it felt nice to be supported. Because when I first started talking to them, they weren't out here yet. And I said, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah, what? And I was like, do you know who changed the pool hours? And he was like, what are you talking about? And his wife was like, what with the pool hours are changed? And I go, am I remembering it wrong, or did the pool used to be open till 11? She was like, oh no, Adult Swim was 8 to 11 always. Or she was like, I think it might have even been 6 to 11 before that. And I was like, yeah, that's what I was remembering. And she goes, and then 8 to 11 in the morning. I go, well, they changed it. And so when I said all that, bunch of 5 kids and a dad going to the pool. Well, they're going to have a surprise when they get up there because there's a bunch of people at the pool. 5 kids and a dad going to the pool.
I'm watching if they're stopping.
He said, I'm watching if they're stopping. Are they going up there?
We'll see if they go on the bridge.
Do you know him?
I've never seen him.
You've never seen him. I feel like there's somebody outside of our neighborhood that's having a big party this weekend.
He's too young to live
See, that's what he said. He's too young to live here. And I said that when, like, everybody that lives in here is a little bit older. There's not, like, any families that live in here that have, like, 5 little kids. There's not, like, there's only one. There's one woman that's, like, a single mother because her husband passed away. Yeah?
Are the people across the street, is it legal for them to use the pool?
No. The only people that can use the pool are people that live on the lake because they pay the HOA fees for lake maintenance.
They are allowed to use the pool?
Yes. HOA drama. It's gonna get heated this summer because this is my issue, but let me just tell you, there are like some big issues. Okay, the landscaping thing is a huge issue. Because when we were talking, like, he really is not happy about the fact that
Marlene's out here looking at him.
uh-huh.
Marlene,
Yeah, I heard you.
got an evil eye on
The woman that used to be in charge of the pool back in the day before the guy that passed away was, like, he just said that she's out there, she's looking at him. Probably because from her house it's so loud. There's so many people up there at the pool. This is like watching a reality show, isn't it? Like, I'm so excited about all that. He's like walking down the street with his... I love that you're walking down the street with your grease, smiling, laughing with your grill lighter. He's like walking. He's like, we are like such detectives of the neighborhood. He's laughing so hard. He's just like walking down, like clicking his lighter as he's like walking down. He's like looking like this. But like, he's not happy with the landscaping, right? Like the landscaping company. So we started asking this guy today. Well, we found out very quickly that he sides with, apparently he knows this company too. I think that, I don't know, it's somebody they were all friends with that owns this landscaping company. And so my neighbor across the street pops up and he's like, well, our yard looks like shit. I'm like, yeah, they've got all this straw in their yard still. And it's like, okay, it's like all the grass is like this. And then it's like this high. And mine's the same way around. This is why Boo Radley, the only place he likes to go is the electrical box because it has all this straw around it. And they won't trim around that grass because they were told not to, the landscaping committee had told them not to cut the grass where the work wasn't done. But the work was supposedly done like a month ago or 6 weeks ago, right? And so, anyway, it cracks me up. So there's a lot of issues. A lot of people are not happy with the landscapers. My neighbor was like, yeah, well, he goes, they just ride up and down the streets burning gasoline as they're blowing their things. They just like, they passed each other. They passed each other the other day. He was out here. They passed each other the other day and they high-fived each other. And he looked, and my neighbor looks at me and he goes, did you just see that? I mean, it's like it's two like riding lawnmowers going by each other and they like high-fived each other. And they have these blowers and they just blow the street. And the guy was like, well, yeah, well, they have to clean the streets. I go, there's nothing in the street. There's literally nothing in the street because they're hardly cutting their grass. There's nothing in the street. He's going crazy over there too. It's so funny. There's always issues. And then all the people that are fishing in the lakes, people are pissed about that. So it's not just the pool. I can smell it from over here. They're having pork chops tonight with green beans and something else. Maybe mashed potatoes. And then I was asking if they went to the farmer's market and got some pie. I'm going to probably have to go inside and get Kleenex. My nose is like running like crazy. My allergies are bad. What was I going to say? Oh, she was telling me, I asked them if they went to the farmer's market this week. And she's like, yeah. Went to the farmer's market and she's like, I got black raspberry pie. She's like, I haven't had black raspberry pie for a long time. Okay, so the pie place that I got my pies from last year, they've upped their prices. So now she's getting her pies. Apparently there are several places there that sell pies at the farmer's market. She's getting her pies from, you know, it was so funny is I was just thinking about this, like when people are like, oh, I don't know why this made me think of this, but when people are like, oh, Peter, like, he just manipulates and deceives his audience, and he just is such a liar. And I'm like, I literally talk here about, like, the hours in the pool opening, HOA drama, and my neighbor getting so excited that she got black raspberry pie. Devious lies to manipulate my audience. You know what? Like, this is where I sit at night. I sit up till, like, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I think to myself, okay, tomorrow I'm going to try to be real relatable and talk about a farmer's market. That way I can pull all these people in. And once I pull all these people in, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'll pull them all in with the relatability of the black raspberry pie and the HOA drama. So anyway, she was telling me, she's like, yeah, I haven't had black raspberry pie since my mom passed away. And she was like, my mom used to make it. And I was like, did you guys have any ice cream with it? She's like, of course we had ice cream with it. I love that answer. Like, why would you even ask that? It's the stupidest question in the world that you would even ask that. I love that. It makes me so happy that, you know, like, of course you just assume that you would have ice cream with black raspberry pie. So anyway, her garden is like so big this year. I feel like it's doubled in size. We kind of like are like sarcastic with each other, joking wise, and she said something about my fern, because my ferns are still out there. She said something about, your ferns, are they like drying out from the rain last night? And I said something, yeah, she made some joke about my ferns. And I go, well, listen to you. I go, this is like over here at Six Flags Botanical Gardens. I said, do we need to book a ride to go through? And she started laughing. I said, girl, there's so much stuff over in your yard. Her husband started laughing too, because I was like, we need to get our tickets for Six Flags Botanical Gardens. It's been a fun day today with all the neighbors talking and stuff like that. Last night, what did I do last night? I might go up to the pool when Alex gets home. Maybe I'll ask my neighbor. See if she's home. Text her and see if she wants to go up to the pool later. Where's she at? Here she is. It's not that warm right now though. I said, do you want to go to the pool later for a quick swim? I think there's 900 people there right now. She'll probably be like, yeah, I'm at the pool right now. The 900 people. She's so excited. She's like, I'm going to the pool a lot this summer. She's like, because I have a, she got it last year. She was real excited about it. A waterproof Kindle. She's real excited about it. She got it for the bathtub and for the pool. She's super excited about it. She didn't use it that much last summer, she said. She is more into the fantasy realm. So right now she's going through, so she read all the Game of Thrones books and then she watched the show. She loves that kind of stuff. And now, last summer, her friend got her started on the Sarah J. Maas books. And she just finished the Court of Thorn and Mist and Fury series, or whatever it's called. She's like on that series. But then she started another Sarah J. Maas, which is so funny because when we were at the pool last summer, she said something to me about how she's really into Sarah J. Maas. She's like, she goes, I'm really into this author that I'm sure you've never heard of. And I was like, who is it? And she was like, Sarah J. Maas. And I was like on BookTube, when I first started on BookTube, Sarah J. Maas was like huge. Like everybody read Sarah J. Maas. And Lee Bardugo, Six of Crows. And who was the other one that a lot of people read back then? Cassandra Clare. She wrote City of Bones. I've always wanted to go back and read that because people say it's so good, but I never read those. There's like 10 of them. They're really thick. They're like that big. Ellen Hopkins is coming out with a new book. Did you guys hear about this? Hold on a second. I saw it on, like, I'm a member of her Facebook page. I read the synopsis and everything. I love Ellen Hopkins. I might have to get this book. I should actually pre-order it. Here, what's the book called? Okay. She's posting cornbread that she made. Where is her picture of her book? Why would she not make it her featured post? Oh, because you know what? Because we're friends on Facebook. This isn't her. Yeah, this is our... We're friends. Where's the Ellen Hopkins Facebook group? So, for those of you that know who Ellen Hopkins is, Ellen Hopkins' very own fan page. Is that it? Okay, where is it at? No, that's her old books. A Sync, here it is. Because I just saw this come up on Facebook. A searing and unforgettable account of two teens caught in the teeth of the foster care system, fighting their way out and back to each other. And when does it come out? Does it say August 27th? So, Ellen Hopkins, she wrote her first couple books called, it was about her daughter's story, and it was about meth addiction. It was like Crank. They just had them on that page. Elementary school's out for the day. And the books are called Crank, Glass, and I think Fallout is what the other one is called. And it says, Christina Snow is the perfect daughter, gifted high school junior, quiet, never any trouble. Then Christina, I can't read this without my glasses. Oh, it's a bunch of kids. They're all, it's like 5, 6, 7, They're all in swimsuits and those glider things that you push. Okay. Then Christina meets the monster, Crank, and what begins as a wild, ecstatic ride turns into a struggle through hell for her mind, her soul, her life. So Ellen Hopkins got famous off these books that she wrote. Now, when you look at them, they look like you're reading poetry, but they're not. They're just like in stanzas. They're like super thick, but they're really easy to read, and they're so intriguing. They're so good. She had another one about like 6 runaways. They run away to Los Angeles or to Las Vegas, and then it's like the book is like them getting ready to run away, and then the other book is them after. But like they come from all different parts. Like it's one kid's story, and like he came out and he's living in Louisville, Kentucky. He's from like Jeffersonville, Indiana. That's like one kid's story, and he's gay. Then another girl, she's like in a fundamental Christian church, and she's got like a boyfriend but like her parents want her to marry somebody else, and so she runs away. And then there's like somebody that's like being abused greatly, and she runs away. And they all run away and like get to Las Vegas, and then they like are all there like meeting up, and they're like her books are very, very real. They're not for the faint-hearted. But she got famous writing these books that she based off of her daughter's true story about her meth addiction. Crank, I think, is the first one. They are so good, you guys. They are so well written. So when I was writing my book, I reached out to her, and I just was like, hey, listen, like I'm a huge fan, and blah, 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 whatever. And we kind of kept up correspondence for a while after that. She was so sweet to me. I remember I sent her like 6 book ideas. This was like after I'd written that first book. Like, I was like, I have these other ideas for books and stuff like that. And she was like, there's this book that I've always wanted to write called Trash. And it's so funny because like every couple months, Dustin Daly will be like, have you started working on that book yet? I'm like, no, and so I sent her like 6 books ideas, and that was one of them. And she's like, I really like this idea for a book. She was like, I think this is a fantastic book. And the other one, she was like, no, I think they need a lot of work. She's like, but this one, I had like sent her the outline and stuff, and she's like, I really like the idea of this book. So Trash would be about this girl who goes missing, and she's like high school, she's like 17. She goes missing, 17 or 18, and they don't know, like, I think she just graduated from high school, is what I decided. I haven't really even looked at this stuff for a while, but she doesn't really, like, know what she wants to do with her life, and she's, like, kind of, like, to her mom and to everybody. I based it, like, on the story that I heard. So, years and years and years ago, there was this Oprah, and with Dr. Phil, and this woman was on there, and her daughter had been murdered. And she said, and she couldn't move past it. It had been like 25 years, and her daughter had been like a straight A student and like a beauty pageant, whatever. And like somebody had like taken her and killed her and like just like left her in like this ditch. And so Dr. Phil, when he was asking her, he said to her, this was so powerful to me as far as grief. He said to her, like, and this was long before my mom ever passed away, probably 20 years before I saw this. And he said to her, so you can't move on? And she was like, no. She's like, her room looks, he like went through her room looks exactly the same as it did the day that she went missing. And he said, can I ask you a question? And she said, this was one of Oprah's aha moments. And she was like, yeah. And he said, would your daughter rather that you focused on the one day that she was murdered, or the 18 years that she celebrate the 18 years that she was alive? And she like looked up, and she looked back at him, and she goes, I never thought of it that way. She says, I never thought of it that way. And she starts bawling. And he says, what are you feeling right now? And she's like, oh. She's like, I thought I was going to come here and tell my story, and then I was going to go home and I was going to take my life because I didn't have a reason to live anymore. She was like, but now I have, you can find this on YouTube. She's like, but now I have a reason to live. She's like, my daughter would be so angry at me. She would be so angry at me that I'm stuck in this. It's such a powerful moment. It is so powerful. And so, like, from that, through the years, I kind of thought about, like, well, she literally wasn't, like, this girl wasn't in a trash bag. She was just found, like, in a ditch or whatever. But I was like, what if the book started, right, with, like, this truck driver, like, you know, trucks, like, park on the exit of, like, you know, when they're, like, coming up on an exit, you know? If you live in the Midwest, I don't know, probably everywhere this has happened, but in the Midwest, it's like we have all these exits, like, in the middle of nowhere highway where there's not a lot of cars, and 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll see, like, a a semi, like, parked on the side of, like, an exit ramp, right, sleeping for the night. Well, what if this trucker, like, found this black trash bag, and inside was this girl that had been murdered, right? How did she get there? The tripod fell. This video is all over the place today, isn't it? The tripod fell down a little bit. But I wanted to talk about, like, Well, really what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of like humanize the story, right? Like, you know, the mother says in the interview, she said something about like, they just left her like a piece of trash on the side of the road. And I'm like, you know, can you imagine like the sensationalization of that story, right? Like if you saw it on the news, you'd be like, oh my God, like they found a woman in a trash bag on the side of the road, right? Well, this girl, I think, was found like I said, like she was like in a ditch or something like that. She wasn't in a trash bag, but I was like, can you imagine that story? Like, if that was, like, hit all the news stations, it'd be like, woman found in trash bag, nobody knows who she is. Like, how did she end up there? And it was all about, like, the idea of humanizing a victim, you know, and humanizing the story of not just, she's just the woman in the trash bag, but, like, who is she, right? And, like, forever she'll be known as the woman that was found in this trash bag, but, like, who is she really as a person? Like, who is the human behind all that, right? And that was really what I wanted to write the book about. So the book was just going to be called Trash. So... But anyway, I love her so much. Oh, wait. My neighbor texted me. She said she's at something. I can't see what she said. She said most likely. She said we're at Joe's because I just finished softball. I've been trying to... Oh, she's trying to get her friend to come swim. She's asking me what time I want to go. I'm telling her it's busy up there. So she doesn't rush home. I'm kind of surprised. It's 5 o'clock. I'm kind of... Oh, I can't text. I didn't even know she was on a softball league. But anyway... I was talking to my neighbor about this. It's like muggy outside. What did I say the temperature was? 73, 74? It feels like it's gotten warmer since I've sat out here. Oh, it has. It's 77 and cloudy now. Yeah, it feels real muggy outside. She said, I hate that it's busy. She's texting me again. What'd she say? She told me gas lots of kids. Well, we'll figure it out when she gets home. If I want to go up there or not. I mean, I can wait till like 7 o'clock to go up there with her if it's just gonna be us. They'll be gone by 7 o'clock. Even though there's got some rain last night, I do want to water these plants today too. And I still haven't made my table. I need to do that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. So last night I watched Eric on Netflix. I don't even really know how to explain this show because it is all over the place. But it is so good, so endearing. It reminded me a little bit of, whenever I say this movie on here, people always think I'm talking about another movie. Oh, the battery just went to the halfway mark. Of course it did. I have no idea which battery this is, but whenever I talk about this movie, people always think I'm talking about a TV show. So there was a movie when I was like growing up. It was like in the 80s, and it was called Without a Trace. And it was about a kid that was kidnapped after he like left for school. Well, this was a very similar story. So what it's about is, I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. I'm just going to give you the basics of this because I think this show is so good. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So Benedict Cumberbatch, or whatever that guy's name is, he plays this guy that wrote and stars in a show like Sesame Street, okay, with puppets. And he's like a puppeteer. And he and his wife and son live in like the Bronx or something like that. I think it said that somewhere. And so his son's like, it starts with his son like being in the studio with him and all this kind of stuff. And then he goes home and then he and his wife fight, and they like fight a lot. And he's a huge drinker, and he's like alcoholic, like drinking. And the son is like, he's had enough of it. And so like, and the son's like, I think he's supposed to be 9 in the show. And so the next morning when he goes to school, he never makes it to school. And so thus sets forward this story of, where is he? Was he killed? Was he kidnapped? How was he taken? Who took him? Things like that. But it turns into, it all takes place in the 80s. It turns into more of that because it has to do also with this gay black police officer that works for the NYPD that is being accused at this time of being extremely homophobic and extremely racist. And they are not solving the case of one missing kid because he was black. and he has to kind of like play a certain way, whatever. And he also has a partner, and there's a whole storyline with that. I mean, it's like so multifaceted, this show, you guys, and addresses so many really serious issues. It's a fantastic show. I would highly, highly, highly recommend it to anybody. I watched all 6 episodes I started episode 1 the night before, but I literally watched like the first 10 or 15 minutes of it, and then last night I watched the rest of it. It was that good. It was that good. Did Alex and I watch? Oh, and then last night we watched RuPaul's Drag Race and RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked. And then I can't remember what he watched after that. I think he said he's got a couple episodes of Grey's Anatomy, because I asked him today at brunch, I was like, what do you have to watch? And he was like, well, I've got a couple episodes of Grey's Anatomy. I was like, still? And he was like, yeah, I'm like catching up or whatever. And then he's like, he's got Shameless. He's like, it's just so hard. He's like, I can only watch like 2 episodes. He's like, it's so dark. And he wants to watch. So we talked about watching Palm Royale together. And I said, well, here's the thing. I was like, I want to watch like 3 episodes. And then I'm going to want to lay down and take a nap. And you're going to want to keep on watching. He's like, no, we can like make it a show that we watch over 2 or 3 days. So we'll probably do that with Palm Royale. Dubai starts tonight. I didn't realize that. The Real Housewives of Dubai starts tonight. And then we have that, and we have, what did he say? We have the other shows that we have. He said Loot. Loot just ended this week. We have RuPaul's Drag Race, Dubai. So those are our 2 shows. He's like, I was asking him what his shows are that he's watching right now, and he said the Kardashians, but I kind of watch that with him sometimes. Oh, I have The Goat to watch still tonight. Vanderpump Rules is over, so I can take that off my list. Loot is over, so I can take that off my list. Here, I need to add to my list. Real Housewives of Dubai. Okay. So I am watching Real Housewives of Dubai, The Valley, which this week is the season finale, then I'll be done with that. RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked, which is really one show. And then The Goat. So Alex and I have Real Housewives of Dubai and RuPaul together. That's it. I'm still watching a lot of shows though, I think. Yeah. So those are the shows that we have to watch tonight, or that we have to watch this week. Now I'm keeping a list of when I finish these shows. So like the last couple days, I finished Eric on June 2nd, because late last night. The Jinx 2, the night before. Loot, the night before. Dancing for the Devil. How many shows have I watched this year so far? I've watched 80. And then I was like going through my shows. I was like, is it flashing red? I was like going through my shows to binge. And I was like trying to pick like which next show I'm going to watch. And I was like, Yellowstone. And I actually was kind of like, well, maybe. Grey's Anatomy. No, not yet. Bridgerton. Okay, so Bridgerton Part 2 is coming out. And then I'll be done with that. Palm Royale. Alex and I are going to watch that together. Sugar, Bodkin. Dark Matter, I'm waiting until that's all out. Goodbye Earth might be one of them. The Veil, waiting for that all to be out. Dead Boy Detectives, Alex has already watched that. Deliver Me. Real Housewives of Miami, I have 2 seasons to season and a half to catch up on. Below Deck, I have 11 seasons. Below Deck Mediterranean, I have 2.5 seasons. Ozark, I thought about Ozark. This is Sister Wives, Sharp Objects, which is only 1 season. So I'm probably going to finish my 1 season shows, like Sharp Objects, The Veil, Dead Boy Detectives, Deliver Me, Good Earth, Dark Matter, Bodkin, Sugar, Palm Royale. I'll probably finish the 1 season ones. Well, The Goat I'm watching right now. I can put okay. Reacher. Has anybody watched Reacher? I saw an ad come up for that. I was like, this looks kind of good. And has anybody ever watched Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount? It's got 3 seasons. I don't know anything about it. Or Columbia on Max. Does anybody know about these shows? Elsbeth, I think I'm going to watch. It's only half an hour an episode. Caroline's watching. I'll give us something to talk about. So, like The New Look was on Apple. It's about fashion designers. I'll probably watch that. Hollywood Con Queen. I think that's, if it's not, I think it's a true crime series. 3 parts. I'll probably watch that. Maybe I'll watch that one next, Hollywood Con Queen. And then after I finish watching that, I think I'm going to watch Bodkin. Because I really want to see Bodkin. Yeah, I'm real excited about this. It's gonna be a summer of shows and reading and all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be the most magical summer that you ever could imagine. Oh, and I haven't watched Damsel yet. I need to watch Damsel. Maybe right now while I'm waiting for Alex to come home, he doesn't want to watch it. Maybe right now while I'm waiting for Alex to come home, I'll bring the iPad out here and I'll sit out here and so my neighbors walk by and want to talk about the HOA stuff. And I'll watch Damsel out here, because then by then, I'll also probably be home in a half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. Anyway, when he comes home, he's going to want to sleep. So he won't care. I'll be like, I'm watching this movie. He'll be like, okay. So maybe I'll watch Damsel now. And then I can... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to film anything else today. I was thinking maybe I would, but I think I just need to kind of take a rester for a day, you know? Take a rester for a day and just relax. And get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. No, that's not the words. Is he done grilling? I don't know. But I'm done grilling. I'm hot to trot. I'm ready to go. I'm done grilling. Quit grill me. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get off here now. I hope that you guys are having a magically... It doesn't feel like a Sunday at all. I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Remember these 3 very important things. 1, I know this is going to end right before an hour or something like that, because it always does. I always think of Tia when it's now I've stopped it, you know, a couple times, and the tripod fell and I talked to my neighbor, so I have no idea the adding up of the minutes, where we're at. I don't remember what time I started. So I'm like, am I at an hour? Am I at 40 minutes? Am I at 30 minutes? I know I'm not at 30 minutes, but am I at 45 minutes? Where am I at? I don't know. So I'll probably be at 59 minutes and 45 seconds. And I always think of Tia, because Tia commented and she said, she was like, oh my God, you couldn't make it over an hour. So anyway, so I hope this is, if it's close to an hour, I hope it's an hour. Anyway, I hope that you guys are getting rested and relaxed and refreshed and renewed for the week ahead. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want, or your week if you need to. Tomorrow, if you start your week off and you're like, okay, this is not the way I want to start my week. I need to start my week off better. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much it means to you. Like I always say, you don't know. You might be putting a smile on their face. You might be cheering them up. They might be like, oh my God, I got a text from who? I love this person. And you also might be giving them some hope, you know? Also, be kinder to one another. Love one another a little bit more. And most importantly, be kinder to yourself and love yourself a little bit more. Because if you are kinder to yourself, well, you deserve it. And it's just a nice thing to do. But you will also be kinder to others. And if you love yourself more, then you will love others more as well. And also, I think that we need to start treating ourselves nicer. Change the tape in our head. Start telling ourselves nicer things about ourselves, you know? And if you're going through something really tough out there right now, I'm sending you some love and positivity. I hope you get through it soon. If you're going through some sickness, I hope that you heal soon. And sending love and happiness and positivity to you and your family. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Oh, and for those that just happen to stick around, one more I love you. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.